This is the OTP pregame presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. No matter your life stage, you can plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for great health care coverage with a sensible price tag. Visit FBHP.com. With Amie Wells, I'm Mike Keith. This is Ramon Foster from Titans Radio and 104.5 The Zone, former NFL player. You also have the title with the league. You do the side job for the league. What do you call that?
Appeals officer.
Oh, you're an appeals officer.
Yeah.
Do you have a badge?
No.
Oh, that would be so cool. Like when Elvis got the badge from President Nixon.
It sounds like it would come with a badge, or at least a hat.
Well, it can come with a lot of things depending upon stuff.
You know, it's interesting because a lot of people don't know you're an appeals officer.
Yeah.
That really hasn't gotten out there at all.
No one talks about it at all.
No one talks about
anymore.
it at all.
I reference y'all know I joke about this all. I got like 5 different jobs is what I tell people, but I never tell them what they are. I ended up getting this one this past July, August, and it's on the NFL Ops page. Like, it's public knowledge that is out there. It's myself, Jordy Nelson, Derek Brooks, the Hall of Famer, and another Hall of Famer, former Titan himself, Kevin Mawai, also. So it's 4 of us this year. It was a
Quite
tandem.
a good group.
It is. It's a good group, and I think they were conscious about what they were doing. Getting offense guy, defense guy, old, new. Like, there was a balance on this.
Now, we're not going to ask you about your most recent case because all of those are private, and there's no way anybody publicly would know what your case was.
No one would ever know.
That would never be released by the NFL.
Or every media
so does
member.
it just rotates? It just comes in order. You don't get selected for a particular case. It's just your turn.
It's your turn and your availability, too. So that's how it usually goes as it pertains to it. And that's the thing, too. The league hands out fines all the time, too. It's just when you have a bigger one that has, a little bit behind it, that's when that type of stuff get announced. I'm probably one of the only times I ever had that national guy tweet about me, too. So that was different.
Oh, you mean there's something that's gotten out?
That was a lot. Well, yeah. Back end of last week was
I missed it. I was a little under the weather.
Mike wasn't there.
I flew the plane for sure.
You
flew the plane on
You
that
landed the plane. You're good.
Well,
You're good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was fascinating, but it's been public knowledge all year long,
right?
And the NFL does a good job. It's agreed upon between the NFL and the NFLPA.
And the PA.
And the rules of it, of course, is to follow the guidelines of the CBA in the rule book. So that's essentially what the job is. And it's good having former players in that position because there's a little bit difference of understanding when it comes from a player-to-player conversation and stuff like
There's
that.
context.
That's more understanding. Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it's too bad that you haven't gotten more publicity for that.
No, You know what? It's crazy how that stuff goes, man. I actually run away from it. It is what it is.
Well, you're an offensive lineman.
I think I might tweet
Naturally.
something later.
You should.
I might just tweet
just
something
make sure
about
Let people know.
it. Just make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Make sure it's
All
right.
right.
That never stops
Yeah.
anyone.
I've learned.
I bet you have.
I've learned.
Well, in all seriousness, you handled all of your publicity about that case very well.
Yeah.
Very proud of it.
I appreciate it.
And we didn't bother you about it.
Well,
Even as the Titans ready. Of course, we haven't all been out to dinner together yet.
No.
So when that happens at Indianapolis, it may be.
Then you get bothered.
Yeah. But trust me, the way my socials were last week, I got so many phone calls from folks I hadn't talked to in a while, in the business, outside of the business.
Okay. All right. Well, you've got to share. Who's the funniest phone call that you got, the funniest message you got that you're willing to share with the OTP?
I won't give us specific, but
you won't?
No, because it's too close to this. The news breakers.
The newsbreakers.
Yeah, I had somehow they found my number.
They can find anything.
Listen, never even had conversations with it, and that's the thing behind the job too, is behind this task. It's a duty, really, is what it is. Is the ability to not say anything because whatever you rule upon is what happens.
But you're on the radio every day.
I don't talk about it though.
That's
you have
tough.
handled that well.
Yeah, and you have to because again, it's a trust thing too.
Right.
And it's for the preservation of the league too. On how you go about doing that job because the rules of the game are what they are, and you got to view them in as such too because this thing that we do that involve these 3 letters, NFL, you want to preserve that as much as you possibly can.
Sure.
And that's the duty of it is to is guys that's played for other teams that have seen their team. Like, it's been guys that have, I've been around in the game because I'm only 5 years removed from it. And the NFL and NFLPA are okay with that also. So that was the other thing, too. I was very upfront about, well, I work with Titans Radio.
Sure.
We don't care. It's
right.
like, okay, will you follow the guidelines?
Well, they want real people.
Yeah,
they don't want
people.
somebody living out in the middle of nowhere who has no contact with any of it anymore.
Yeah.
And I applaud them for wanting real people because, I mean, you're going to look at the Shield, the NFL Shield, and you're going to do what's right for the Shield because that's who you are as a person.
Yeah, and we all benefit from the Shield. Like, we're able to do
100%.
this podcast because of it, too. So there's a lot. The NFL has a lot of branches. It does, and everybody's working towards the right direction to keep this thing going. It's fascinating.
So you ready to get into the 5 topics?
Absolutely.
Five topics.
5 topics. We're going to start Tennessee, Cincinnati. With Trey Hendrickson, topic number 1. Defensive end, Cincinnati Bengals, leads the NFL in sacks with 12.5 in 2024. He actually has 12.5 of Cincinnati's 24 sacks. So he has more than half their sacks. Okay. He has over 50 sacks since he joined the Bengals in 2021.
Huh?
Yeah, because he had 17.5 last year.
I didn't realize he was cooking like that.
All right, so listen to this. Trey Hendrickson has aligned as the right edge, the offensive line's left, on 95.1% of his snaps this season. He's also lined up 3.6% of his snaps right inside defensive line, so he's moved inside.
Yeah.
But he's been on the defense's right, the offense's left, for that number of snaps. He's had only 4 snaps on the left side of the defensive line, the right side of the offense. So if that holds true Sunday in Nashville at Nissan Stadium, J.C. Latham's going to have him.
Yeah, he is.
J.C. has had a rough few weeks. What, Ramon Foster, is the challenge of blocking a guy like Trey Hendrickson? And what is J.C. Latham going to have to do better to be successful on Sunday?
The challenge of blocking Trey Hendrickson is he doesn't quit. He goes his allotted amount of plays, get his rest, and he powers right back up to go again. His ability to have that many sacks in that short of a window, Mike, and that for that franchise says a lot about who he is. They also set him up to be an ability to where he only specializes in one type of rush side too. He knows his moves and how his body's going to be over the left tackle when he's rushing up against him. He understands the angles. And here's the thing about him too. He came into this league, I remember as a young guy too with the Saints, like just power, run through your face. And over time, he's gradually made himself a little bit more of a finesser. He scares you with his ability, with his power to hit you and get off of you right now, or he can also set you on your butt. Like, he's that type of guy. That's where he is as a pro right now, to where this is where I always tell guys, like, when you hit years 6 through 9, that's when you really become a true pro, where you don't have to practice as much anymore. You watch more tape and do less physical because you only have so many shots left anyway. And that's where he is, and that's why his production is what it is also. And he's probably a little bit ticked off because Cincinnati didn't extend him out. He is what he considered underpaid right now. They've done it twice with Jamar, and I'm sure we'll get to him, to Jamar and also him. It confuses me. You saved that guy. But either way, for JC, 3 weeks is hard to try to reset your mind more than anything. He, to me, is at the mental part of his rookie year, to where the physical is there, right? We understand he's big, he's strong, but now how can he persevere through injuries that he may have, little nicks and dings? How does he look at tape and figure out how to minimize himself as far as his deficiencies to correct why he's giving up these sacks? That's where he has to be. This is why I always tell young guys, like, the game is more mental than it is physical at this point. He's not getting physically beat down. He's not getting plowed over and stuff like that. They're getting him with what they've seen him mess up with on tape. And that's where JC, in my opinion, has to start first. Look and, like, ingest, digest, and just regurgitate what you've messed up at, and not just the sacks that you've given up. That's only one play a game, right? Not just the sacks, but what happened the play before, what happened the series before. It's such an intricate part on, like, watching offensive line develop that a guy may have did something to you in the first quarter, and they circle back to it at the end of the half, like last week, right? That's what he's got to figure out. What are they doing to me to get to that point right there? If it's bending underneath my arms, then I got to get to my point a little bit quicker. Like, he ain't bad. He's just getting got by guys who are veterans. If you look at the people that he's giving up sacks on, they have been more veteran guys as of late.
I mean, the Titans have gone up against some pretty ridiculous defenses this season. And for a guy like J.C. Latham, who is a rookie, he's played fairly well, especially early. You know, he showed off that strength. He showed off those abilities. Are we seeing a fatigue, almost like a rookie wall kind of thing, where his body's just not used to the amount of work that he's being asked to do?
And he's also dinged.
Yeah. And he is dinged. So there's that too. But or is this guys are realizing what he can and cannot do, and to your point, they're circling back to some of his weaknesses?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I think I told Phil Noel, who's our teammate on Titans Radio, the Washington game, which is where he gave up another sack in that game to a veteran guy also. I saw him putting the heating pad on, and I was like, Phil, I don't think he should go back in the game. And it was one of those situations to where he's young, so he feels invincible, right? But if that was a veteran, with how I saw him react on the sideline, a veteran would have tapped his helmet and probably pulled himself out. So you got to give him a lot of credit for just really pushing through these injuries. I think that's a point. I do think when you look at his career and how last year went for him too, like we don't realize, like he went from playing college ball to training. From training to trips, from trips to the combine, from the combine to the NFL draft, from the draft to the Titans. Like, it's been nonstop. So I do think, and I don't usually like to use this excuse, but I do think he's feeling it, the time, the stress of the job. And you guys know, like I know, when your record isn't as favorable, it's hard to – where's my motivation? I saw him coming off the field. It was in the Washington game, and he was just upset. And that's where you need vets to be around. I know he's got a good group around him too, but you just grab a dude like him that you know is going through it, is in a spin cycle, and tell him it's not always like this. And you need what we like to call in the game OGs sometimes, old guys, to tell you, hey, just keep pushing. Take a day, reset your mind, because it's more of that than anything.
Is this where he misses Cushenberry being out with injury right now?
I would guess so, Mike, because that's where a solid guy like him behind the scene understands what a full year looks like. And for a young guy, too, at that position, as heralded as high as he is, too.
Right.
Yes, it is, because I'm sure they built that relationship because he took him on his wing from what I could tell this year. That's where it matters a little bit more, Mike. It does. And we take that for granted sometimes, why you keep certain guys around the team. Like, you know, I know Von Miller's a great player, but he's more of a teacher role. You know what I'm saying? Probably for those young Grinnell guys that are up there, Gregory Rousseau, you know, and those types of guys that are around. Heck, it's numerous guys around the league that live that type of life of being a player coach more than anything. And that's necessary for the locker room and for the team.
Yeah, he's still 21.
Young.
21. I mean, he's not a guy who had 7 years in college because of COVID. I mean, he's a young dude. And here's the other stat, too, is JC has had some difficulties. He's certainly done some good things in pass protection throughout the year at times. But listen to this stat. The Titans have averaged 5.7 yards per carry when running to the outside left. That's fourth in the NFL.
Wow.
They average fewer than 4 yards per carry when running in all other directions.
Wow. Again, the strength is there, right? We mentioned his ability to be good at that, but it really is a matter of, one, a bad season piling onto you, and I've always think I'm pretty sure I said it on the podcast we did before too, like pass protection, which Peter Skoronski's gotten a whole lot better at according to the metrics. It's like painting. I remember I brought up the Bob Ross name.
Sure.
Bob Ross's trees, I'm sure, didn't look really good in the beginning.
Happy mistakes.
Happy mistakes.
Yeah.
It's hard having happy mistakes.
You don't have happy mistakes.
These are not happy mistakes.
Trey Hendrickson, 30-year-old Trey Hendrickson, year 8 from Florida Atlantic, 6'4", 265.
Yeah.
You don't have happy mistakes against guys like that.
Ain't nothing happy about that.
And you know, all it's going to take, and I know we got 5 questions, all it's going to take is him to stop whatever happened last week once. I told the story about how I had a guy chasing a sack off of something I did the week before, and the moment I shut it off, his game plan was gone because he worked on beating me what the other person did the week before. it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Happy mistakes are hard still, though, Mike. The game, they just are.
All right, topic number 2, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard leads the Titans with 937 yards rushing. That's 9th overall in the NFL. He has 7 games with 80-plus rushing yards. Only Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry have more. He has 3 100-yard games. By the way, did you hear the stat that with 63 yards, Tony Pollard will become the 8th Tennessee Titan to go over 1,000 yards?
Woohoo!
I heard.
Did you see how Keith Bulluck did with those?
He got everyone except the last one, and then he tried to make us feel good on the back end of it, Mike.
That was edited in a way that there's maybe more than one hint. Do you know this? Do you know the 7?
I don't know the 7.
All right,
Don't make me guess.
Oh yeah, let's see if you can do it. You obviously haven't seen the social media video with Keith, have you?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, she was on assignment.
I was on assignment.
All right, so
I missed
since we became the Tennessee Titans in 1999, 7 players have rushed for 1,000 or more yards.
Okay.
Go.
Eddie
George did it multiple times, correct.
Chris Johnson
did it multiple times, correct.
Derrick Henry
did it multiple times, correct. Now
How many is that? 3?
Yeah, now all of the
I've
next
run out of running
the next
backs.
4 are one-offs.
Other running backs.
You've been here nearly 12 years.
I know, I've been here.
One of them happened while you were here.
One of them happened while I was here.
The one-off.
Okay. Oh, DeMarco Murray. Okay.
2016.
All right, that's 4.
Would you have gotten these, Ramon Foster?
Probably not all of them.
Okay.
Okay. Before my time, I'm
Before
trying
your
to think
time.
of running backs before I was here that I would know.
Okay.
There's another Chris, right?
There is another Chris, yes.
Okay.
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
2004.
All right, so I've got 5.
That was the hardest of the 3 that
I have 5.
You know one of them.
I know one of them.
You know one of them through homecoming weekends and various things that you have been involved in over the years.
Running back.
I would say you know him pretty well.
A running back.
A running back.
Yeah.
Thinking of
You like him.
somebody I like.
You think he's funny and fun, and you enjoy being around him.
I enjoy a funny, fun
Come on.
person
Yeah.
that I enjoy being around.
Yes.
This person's going to hate
That's
you
a
when
running
you're done.
back?
Yes.
I don't hang out
You
with
want
running
hints?
backs typically. Yeah.
Hangs out with Bo Scaife. Hangs out with Chris Johnson.
Yeah. I know exactly. Lindell White.
Lindell White.
All right.
You like Lindell
I
White.
really do. I do think he's funny and fun and
Okay.
enjoy being around him. All right, I have one more.
The other one.
One
okay,
more.
Okay,
Give
so,
me a hint.
So
This
here
is
are
great.
the hints. He has the same last name as one of the other 6 guys.
Johnson.
He has the same. That's just a
Okay.
hint. Okay. He has the same last name as one of the other 6 guys. He did it in a year where Vince Young was the quarterback.
Okay.
He played at the University of Tennessee. He's from not far from where your husband is from, probably a
Okay.
little closer to Orlando
Okay.
originally.
Florida.
He also shares a first name with another NFL running back from the same university.
Yeah, she wouldn't know Travis Stevens, though.
Okay, so Travis something.
Travis something.
Travis.
Okay, so his nickname, Cheese. Because he was like a block of cheese trying to tackle. Travis Henry.
Travis Henry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Travis
So
Henry.
the,
I never
so
would
the
have
7
gotten that
running
one.
backs, for those of you who missed Titans tonight with Keith Bulluck, Eddie George, Chris Brown, 2004, Travis Henry, 2006, Lindell White, 2007, Chris Johnson, multiple times, DeMarco Murray, 2016, Derrick Henry, multiple times. So topic 2 on Tony Pollard is, how does Tony Pollard help his offensive line, and how do they help him?
How does he help them? Hitting the right holes first. Like that right there is something that we bring up, like not run into darkness as a running back. We hate that up front. Don't run into my back. If I got the B gap right here sealed off, please hit that one, unless you're trying to manipulate the linebacker. Like, it's those types of things right there. And being very transparent with the coaching staff. Coach, I don't like that run. Coach, I do want to run this. Hey, big fellas up front, what y'all want to do? Like, those are the questions that have to also happen, too, when you're trying to get that 1,000 yards and you're trying to move this offense forward is, why are we running, let's say if you don't like running toss plays, why are we running toss plays, Coach? Like, I can't see the field. Or, hey, Coach, they're on me too quick in the backfield. Those are the things you discuss up front for those guys up front. And the O-line, it's don't stop blocking until you hear the whistle. Like, it's one of the most cliche things ever, block to the whistle. But those are the things that have to happen. And here's the other part. Why not do the smart thing? You told a stat earlier where J.C. Latham is running over 5 yards. Well, when they go to his side, it's over 5 yards a blip.
Nearly 6.
Continue to work that. Work the body. What is it? The KISS analogy. Keep it simple, stupid.
Sure.
Like, that's just where you are. It's not I hate to say it's not a very complicated game, but it's not. Do the things that you do well and do them often with a little flair here and there, sprinkle some dust on it every once in a while and season it up right. But that's what you do in those moments, especially this time of the year too when it's cold. You got to keep churning the ball. And if what they do up front good is run blocking, move forward. Absolutely.
I don't want to make this about me, but are you surprised I got 6 out of 7?
No. You're very good at your job.
Thanks, Mike.
That's passing.
That was nice of you.
No, but I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised.
That was good.
I think I only would have gotten 6 of the 7.
Yeah.
Which one have you forgotten?
DeMarco. And the reason is
I kind of
well, I'm a big DeMarco fan, and I was, and I'm glad he's doing well coaching, and I like him very much. But I think I would have lost it in the Derrick Henry years.
Yeah,
because
the Derrick
all
Henry
of that
DeMarco
so faded together.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think I would have gotten it eventually, but I would not have gotten it quickly.
Yeah.
I'd have got DeMarco blindly, just on the basis that he was one of the big backs here, meaning name.
And
So
he had a great
Yeah.
I mean, DeMarco was a huge reason, in my opinion, that we turned it around in 2016.
100%.
Yeah.
What a pro.
We're in Pittsburgh. Like game planning for guys like him is you just put him up on the big board, there's the name. Like, stop him.
Sure.
And he delivered in his career for
He's a dude.
a real good moment, for sure. Between Dallas and Nashville, he definitely did.
Yeah, his Pro Bowl is what I remember, is what cements him
Oh,
in
because
like
you
a
got to
period
go
of
to
time.
the Pro Bowl.
Because I was there for
Because
it.
somebody got to go to the Pro Bowl.
Well, it was the first one I had covered, and
yeah.
we had like 4 or 5 guys there or
Imagine.
something, and he
You know
was
where I
one
was?
of them there.
Mobile.
You were
See what I'm saying, Mike?
in Mobile.
And
No!
And I like being
That's
in
not true, Mike. I was in Mobile, too. That's the year we took the van. Okay, yeah, let's talk about it for a second. We took a van, and we drove
in it here.
from Nashville to Mobile, Alabama, did the Senior Bowl. Then we drove from Mobile, Alabama to Orlando, Florida, covered the Pro Bowl, and then we drove all the way back to Nashville.
All right, Mike, I'm starting to feel sorry for her now.
But you didn't drive.
I sure didn't drive.
Oh, never mind.
Well,
then.
Ashley drove.
Ashley Farrell drove.
I covered maybe.
You slept.
I drove half of the way. Like half the way to Mobile.
Well, you got to Columbia, Tennessee, and then got that's just how far she
didn't even make it out the state.
Okay.
So
I'm not a great driver.
So
nobody wants me to drive.
So please.
But I sat in a minivan for a really long time. Really long time.
I mean, isn't that your life now too?
No, I don't drive a minivan.
Okay.
I do have a mom car, but it's not a minivan.
No, your car's sharp.
It is. Thank you.
It's a very sharp.
Anyway,
it's a very
let's
sharp Nissan.
It is a Nissan. Ding.
Sponsor.
Let's not feel bad for Mike Keith that year.
But I didn't get to go to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, no. And
I've never been to the Pro Bowl.
Other years we can feel bad for you, but not that one.
Not that year.
Yeah, but she always
was
brings
tough
out,
year.
oh, I was at the league meetings, or I went to the Super Bowl. Oh, I was hanging out at the,
Big time.
I mean, I'm just waiting for,
Yeah.
oh, I was there at the King's coronation. And,
I mean.
okay.
I'm just doing my job. I
That's
go where
happened.
I'm assigned.
You go where you're assigned.
I just go where I'm assigned. I don't make the schedule,
Good old foot soldier over here.
You just have to play the games that are in front of you.
Mike, I don't see how you deal.
I don't make the schedule.
I feel sorry for you now, Mike.
You shouldn't. You should not. Hey, Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up.
Home is at the forefront of all that we do.
It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. The OTP pregame continues with Ramon Foster. Topic number 3. Brian Callahan coached for Cincinnati before he came here. I don't know that that's been publicized this week.
No
I hadn't
one's
heard
talked
it.
about it. Yeah.
He comes from Cincinnati?
He does, yeah. Well, I mean, we josh, but it's totally a fair topic.
Yeah.
So here's the real question. Callahan was in Cincinnati for 5 years before getting here. Is there any advantage on either side? And if so, who has an advantage to Brian Callahan coaching against his former team this weekend?
Being that close and how often they're around each other with coaches, I think it's a little bit of instinct and knowing what he might do in situations. Like the personnel on the field, all right, those dudes are dying. Trey Hendrickson is who he is, right? Like, I mean,
I know who Trey Hendrickson is.
Yeah.
So,
that problem handles itself.
Right.
But the shell of the way he wanted his offense to work versus what he would know about Brian Callahan would know about his defense, Denard Wilson's defense, yeah, there's something to be had there. Knowing that, hey, if we get in 2nd and 3, he's going to do this. Hey, first down in the red zone, he likes to do these things. So you think
more advantage to Callahan than advantage to Cincinnati?
Yes, because I feel like as it pertains to what Brian Callahan is, his template has still been drawn up.
Oh, okay.
His template has still been drawn up. You got to think, Coach Brian Callahan told everybody earlier this year when he got hired, like he helped set up the structure of what Zach Taylor does. So there's an understanding that, look, most coaches are creatures of habits. There's no way around that. They just are who they are. They can spin it and make it better in other phases, right? But they are who they are. On 1st and 10, he likes to run 4 run plays. You got to be lucky in picking which one of those 4 are or how he likes to move that offense. But I do think there's something to be said about a guy that set up his play calling sheet on how he likes to call plays. So I would give a slight advantage to Coach Callahan knowing I guess the personality of what Zach Taylor can be like on game day.
Okay, Ramon Foster, topic 4, an offensive line question.
All right.
Orlando Brown has been hurt, their left tackle. We don't know that he will play. We're not sure about that. Last week, they started their left guard, Cody Ford, at left tackle. They started the backup left guard, Cordell Volson, at left guard. They started Ted Karras, the veteran, at center. The nephew of Alex Karras, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes. Alex Kappa at right guard, and gigantic Amarius Sims from Georgia at right tackle. Thoughts on what the challenges for the Titans will be against that offensive line this week?
Knowing there's a known problem and not exposing it. Coach Callahan came out last week and challenged the defensive line on getting to the quarterback and making them public enemy number 1 as it pertains to who's going to help this team win. And their left tackle, Cody Ford, was giving it up last week. Like he and that left side somewhat got pushed around and bullied a little bit. So you got to be able to do those things as it pertains to that team.
You talk about in the Dallas game on Monday night.
Yeah, you got to be able to expose those guys when given the opportunity to them. And then, of course, Amarius Mims on the other side is a young guy. Treat him as such also. If JC can have his woes, then you got to make sure he feels his also. That's where I think you try to dominate a guy like him. And then the other side of it, too, is Joe Burrow's gotten dynamic in his ability to manipulate the pocket and move up and down and find his guys down the field with his eyes up. If you can keep and squeeze him in the pocket, you got something that you could really work with this week. That's where it has to be. And I thought the challenge that Coach Brian Callahan initiated to the defense was appropriate, too. That's your most senior group with the most experience, I feel like, on the entire team. Big bodies up front got to do work, and that's where you try to expose those guys at Nissan Stadium on Sunday. You have to be able to do that. Young guys, old guys, they got to feel the pressure on a week like this.
Interesting, and this doesn't really have anything to do with that, but issuing a challenge or calling out a group of people that are a senior group of people that's a leader, just a group that contains a lot of leaders for this team. Does that send a message not only to that group, but kind of to the whole team that, hey, guys, like, we're watching everything you're doing here?
And it's on them to lead the charge in that. That, like, coaches do this often. They coach through the media. It's quite funny to hear. Coach said, what? Like, those are the reactions you have. And it's not personal. Like if I'm asking you to do your job and simply be productive and be one of the most important parts on this team, you should do that. And yes, everybody else does feel it, because I feel like a lot of people will walk around and say, well, you don't talk about Big Jeff like that. No, he called out Jeffrey Simmons' group. He called out Sebastian Joseph-Day's group, like a bunch of senior guys that have been doing it in this league for over 5+ years, right? And if the rest of the teams hears that, like, the pressure's on at that point. You either, fight or flight at that point. And I thought it was very unique that he did it at that moment. And I think it continues to move forward for the rest of the season, too, because Jeff's even said that in his postgame. It's like, you're playing for more than just, a check. It's about pride in your job for the next couple of years. And I think it does start with those dudes up front. And everybody should have heard that message.
Ramon Foster in the Snickers hot seat today. Topic 5, Morgan Cox. Morgan Cox, coming to the end of another successful season, his 15th in the NFL. He is 38 years old. He made the Ravens team as an undrafted free agent in 2010. He played for them for 11 seasons. He's finishing his 4th season with his Tennessee Titans. He played at the University of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. I was there with Morgan.
I know. And he waited 2 years to be the long snapper and then became the long snapper at Tennessee, 2007 through 2009. In doing a feature that we're working on with the sports performance staff, and I think people are going to really enjoy this on our TV programs, because some of the stuff they're doing is quite different. And it's not just for now, it's for the long term, especially with the young guys. But in talking to them about one of the guys who's really bought into the program, it's Morgan Cox.
Yeah.
And it's a 38-year-old man who would be 39 in April. I don't mean to sell him out, but
I'll be 39 in January.
Yeah. But this guy is he's played 241 NFL games. Talk to me about 5 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. Why is he so good at his job?
One, it started with work on the front end. I remember watching Morgan at the University of Tennessee, and he came in, I think he's playing linebacker, guy from Memphis, right? He's playing but there's a log jam. Gerard Mayo's there. There's a bunch of dudes that was in front of him. Omar, like, there's so many dudes in front of Morgan, and he was smart. I'm not going to get on the field probably playing a position. So let me figure out this special teams thing. And I remember watching Morgan earlier in that career. Well, now I can say early in his career if we're looking back to college. He went to the indoor and would just have a football tied to a chain, literally like a junkyard dog chain. And he would start at the goal line, and he would snap the ball in between his legs and walk it all the way down the field. And this chain probably weighs about 20 pounds or something like that. But what it does, it was teaching him the motor skills of throwing the ball between his legs as far as the way the long snaps are supposed to go. And at that point, like Tennessee, the University of Tennessee's always had a good kicking program. They have. And he was a part of that operation. And with those types of dudes like Morgan, that you don't get drafted for long snappers too often. You got to fight and find your way in training camp. And I think his pathway starting at the University of Tennessee of being a guy that figured out, I need to pivot to another position of importance. And he chose long snapping. And he's a Pro Bowler now. He's a Super Bowl champion also. But how do you get to this point? Being smart, being consistent, and being professional. And he has been all of those things in the decisions that he's made and just how he's gone about. I think he registered his 1 tackle, I think, or something like that for the year.
He's got 3.
There it is.
I mean, and he's not been a guy who's had a lot of special teams tackles in his career.
Right.
Because he's playing with the Ravens. They've always had a lot of guys that could get down there before him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think he's near his career high in year 15 in special teams tackles. He's certainly willing. He goes down. I mean, it's not for a lack of trying.
It's not.
He's just a pro, and it feels like, and I don't know, what his discussions are with, the front office or whatever, but it feels like he's going to go as long as he wants to, and the question becomes, how long does he want to? And then it raises the point, what percentage of NFL players get to decide how long they want to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's not
1%?
a lot. Yeah,
even Tom got pushed out of New England.
Right.
I mean, to that point. Morgan, though, it's such a specialty position that is not many folks that do it who are also good at it. Like, I don't think people understand when that ball is snapped, held, and kicked, like there's a clock. that it has to be off by. Like the snap has to get back there in a certain amount of time. And it has the catcher has to be good. The spinning of the football has to be good, and all of that has to happen in like 1.1 seconds or something like that. Like it's fast, and maybe I'm a little quick on the time. But what Morgan has is the ability to snap that ball, put it on the spot on the field every single time. The consistency, professionalism, and clearly, Mike, with him doing the sports health stuff, like the transformation of his body continually. That's how you last.
You know, they said, so we're gonna. I don't mean to give this whole story. We're going to do away, but it's largely about the different element that they've really incorporated in the athletic performance area, which is speed. They have hired a coach specifically who is an expert in speed training.
Wow.
His name is John Shaw, and it's been fascinating. So they were talking about the veterans who have bought into it, that have helped the young players to buy into it, and it's Jeff Simmons, and it's Arden Key, and it's Harold Landry, and it's all the receivers and the D-backs, as you can imagine. Nick Folk is another one, and a lot of they feel like that a lot of his success from 50-plus is, and he's a little dinged right now, but, I mean, he's 40 years old. But, I mean, the guy's hit his last 8 kicks from 50-plus.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, they feel like, is that training, not so much that he's faster, that it's the speed to power more quickly.
It's like a burst.
It's like a burst. That's exactly – you said it better than I did. And that Nick Folk has hit a PR, a personal record, or it's called a PB by some people, a personal best, that he has hit like 17.6 miles an hour at some point.
That's incredible.
But Morgan is also in that group. Stonehouse is in that group of people who are really trying to utilize this newfangled training, and they feel like it's going to have not just a short-term benefit, but it's going to have a more long-term benefit. And they also do feel like that it has helped with some of the soft tissue injuries. For all of the difficulties the Titans have had in 2024, and there have been many, they have not had as many soft tissue injuries, or so it seems.
Yeah.
This is where, when I was a NFLPA rep, you know, we're speaking about the GPS and the technology, the whoop bands that guys wear and stuff like that do sleep study on it. So I'm a dinosaur, essentially, at this point, okay, with how I play football. It was just ice tub, ice and stem, or massage. That's all we really did. And as my later years at about like 18, 19 was my last year, there was a lot of conversational sleep studies, like water, quick twitch, soft tissue stuff, recovery, like all of these things became a thing. And one of the main facets of it, we had questions about the information that you get, that teams get from GPSs. Can it be used against you? Okay, if my guy, left guard A over here, is a tick slower and I can see it on this GPS, does that mean we have to get rid of them already? But what I'm hearing is they're finding out ways to, there might be a player that, hey, there's nothing we can do. His GPS isn't there, his production is down, we got to cut him. But what I'm hearing is teams that got good quality players. You mentioned the Nick Folk. He's been money. And this is one of the, I guess, the payoffs of having that GPS is, hey, if we incorporate this quick twitch, like he's hit 50-yarders this year. 56. At 40.
Yeah.
At 40.
I mean, he's had 2 games where he's made 3 50-yarders.
I didn't see this. Happening like last.
No.
You'd have told me this last
year.
Well,
when the Titans traded for him, it was like, well, good. I mean, he'll make 80% of his kicks, and he'll.
Yeah, that's nice.
He's missed 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, Mike.
But I mean, a lot of it, I think
that's fascinating.
So many of these athletes, Bryce Oliver.
Yeah.
Bryce Oliver is faster than what they thought he was based on his 40 coming out of Youngstown. And he's getting faster. Jarvis Brownlee is faster. If he had been clocked this way coming out of college, he'd have been more than a 5th-round pick. But he's developed. His play speed is getting faster due to technique, and you combine the strength and power training with the speed training. It's fascinating.
It is. I'm a huge advocate of technology in the game to make it safer. I like from helmets to cleats to that side of just body production. That's what I'm saying. I would have been, golly, I probably would have went from undrafted to like a 5th-round pick.
You'd probably played tight end.
Mike, seriously, that was my first reps anyway. It was extra tight end. You might as well give me 88 at that point.
Jumbo.
Yeah, jumbo in Cincinnati. I'll never forget. I was so nervous. Oh my gosh.
You go in there. Does anybody report eligible better than John Ojukwu?
I'm talking.
No.
It is one of my favorite things that I see on Sundays.
It's
is
just
when 61 reports.
Yeah.
First of all, he's a tremendous kid. He really is a tremendous kid, and man, he battles. He does. He does.
Undrafted mindset.
I mean, you get everything John Ojukwu's got, even from how he reports.
I like it.
I mean, there is no doubt. There will never be a penalty on John Ojukwu for failing to accurately report.
No.
He would go to every person in the stadium and report if he needed to.
He had to.
Hey.
Well, see, now there's two sides to that, okay? Number one, I'm an undrafted, so you need to notice me, okay?
You do.
This is the other side
I need
of that.
you to see me.
See me. The other side is he's a lineman. That's the only time you get your number called for a good reason.
Right.
Well,
and I guess he does let the other team know, too, which is probably – but who cares? I love it. I love his enthusiasm for whatever – I mean, you watch him in practice.
It's like that.
It's like that in practice.
Wow.
And, you love those guys who he wants to play.
I buy in.
He wants a job, man.
He wants a job. This is one of the best jobs in the world.
Yeah.
You should do your job, to the best of your ability. I like young guys like that, though.
Yeah.
Nothing can steal their joy.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Hey, Titans fans, SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season.
Whether you're buying or selling football tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Tennessee Titans.
The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected.
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek. Made a rookie mistake this football season? Maybe you should have had a Snickers.
Because now you can enter for the chance to turn those rookie mistakes into prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59.
Visit snickers.com/rookie mistakes for details.
The props portion?
We have to get to the props portion.
All
it's
of
time
them
for
just
it's time for the key ingredients of the game, delivered by Little Caesars Pizza. So are you ready?
Sure.
Key number 1 for the Titans is score. That's right, score points. In half of their games this season, this week's opponent, the Cincinnati Bengals, have scored 30 or more points. They average 28 points per game. Titans only average 17.5. That won't cut it Sunday at Nissan Stadium. Tennessee must be prepared to put up points to have a chance to beat the Bengals. Key number 2, turn up the heat on the passer. We talked about it earlier. The Titans need Harold Landry and Arden Key to have big games, Jeffrey Simmons too. Bengals are going to throw the football. They average 37 passes per game. Tennessee needs a huge game from its pass rushers on Sunday. And key number 3, get control of the game early. Win the line of scrimmage on offense by running the ball. Stop Cincinnati's attempts to run the ball in order to make them one-dimensional. Even though they like to throw, make them predictable. Win field position with special teams. Play from in front where you can control the controllables. Getting control of a game early is something the Titans really haven't done this season. Sunday against the Bengals would be a good week to try something new.
My stopwatch didn't work, but it felt long. It felt windy, so we'll say it was over a minute.
Windy?
Little Caesars is the official pizza partner of your Tennessee Titans.
Windy?
Download the Little Caesars app and get your favorites delivered today. Delivery fees apply.
So, I mean, did you learn that? Like windy when you got to go to the Pro Bowls and the Super Bowls and the owners' meetings.
You took some liberties,
the draft.
Mike.
She goes to the draft.
You
Sarah,
took some liberties.
All
right, so
here.
We're a little different now. We've gone fancy on the helmets.
Because we have like a whole. So we have a tray now.
We have a tray.
Can I set the tray up for you?
Sure.
All right, look at this. We've got a jar.
So you've got a jar.
We've also
jar.
upgraded to a squeeze bottle.
Well, and
if
this
you're
is
better
important.
At that.
I wanted the squeeze bottle in here. Make sure and turn the jar properly forward so I can see the label.
Hold up, I
Okay,
got it
he's
right here.
got that.
Oh, look at that.
All right, so
Okay.
you got a tray.
That's nice.
And you can serve because it's the holidays. So you need a big old jar of Hellmann's because you're going to cook something with Hellmann's.
Yep.
But the other thing, too, and Ramon points this out, you're going to make a sandwich.
You are.
You're going to make a sandwich of some sort over the holidays because you have all those good meals and afterwards,
You have a
5-6
sandwich.
hours later, you have a sandwich. That Hellman's right there in the squeeze
bottle.
bottle. It's really more handy.
It is because I mean the jar. I got to go get a spoon or a plastic knife. It's wasteful. Well, no, it's not wasteful.
It can be.
It can be
unless
wasted
you're allowed
steps,
to lick the
wasted
spoon.
time.
Yeah, unless it's that.
And then that could be if there are other people around, not great.
So you mentioned like the post-holiday sandwiches,
yes,
but like there's also the pre-dad dinner sandwich
yes.
too. So there's
that's a lineman thing, I think.
Wait a minute. You have a sandwich before dinner?
Listen. If somebody's been out on the smoker, probably a dad, probably me, that smoked a ham, and I gotta wait until like 4 or 5 o'clock.
You're gonna need a sandwich.
Be 2 slices of bread and some ham on some.
There you go.
Yeah. It's usually how
you
got to
make sure it's good for everybody else.
And that's all it is.
You're being thoughtful.
Back in the day with the Queen's Court, right? Like somebody had to test the food.
That's all. Tester.
Dad snacks are a
good
real
person.
thing.
Listen, I'm doing the duties for the people
He's a good person.
That's it.
I think dad snacks before meals are more universal than I thought.
No, I'm telling you.
That's what I'm gathering.
We're
or maybe
all
it's an
alike.
offensive lineman
We're
thing.
all a lot alike.
I'm learning many
a mayo
things today.
tivation from Hellman's.
Mayo Titans cheers be loud, and your deviled eggs, potato salad, and whatever holiday dish you wish to make your mama and the entire family proud. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans. Mayo game day be delicious. The end.
Solid.
What do you think?
No
That was
applause.
a Wendy Reed right
No
there.
It was a Wendy Reed.
It was just a little lengthy. You had some extra.
I knew
you
a girl
tightened
once
it
named
up a
Wendy
little bit.
Reed.
Wendy
You did,
Reed,
really?
Very nice person. Lovely person.
Wow,
Yeah.
your recall is awesome.
Well, you said Wendy Reed.
Well, there it is.
But it was
You
with
knew
an
her.
E. Yes. Ramon, thanks so much for being here and for sitting in the Snickers hot seat. Feel free to take all of those that you wish.
It's
Yeah.
post-Halloween. I'm on this weight loss track now, so I'm leaving
How's
it
that
behind.
going?
It's going good.
You look great.
I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to get to Mike's size is what I'm trying to.
My size?
Yeah.
Never.
Well, not that size. See, with me, my head would be super big.
It
would
would
look like
be
a,
really bad.
A basketball on a
would
pogo
look
stick
terrible.
or something like that.
I don't think anyone wants that.
But it's been good though. Riding my bike.
Good.
But it starts up front though.
Do you do like
my dinners.
Peloton?
I do.
Do you really?
Love
I end
the
up getting the
Peloton.
bike seats too.
Do you have
Oh.
Do you have a
We'll
favorite instructor?
Not right now because I'm easing back into it. I do the low impact rides right now. But no, not a favorite instructor because I'd forgotten them because it's been like a year since I had my membership. So I'm back in the side. I'll get that back to you later this year
Good.
though.
I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, I have my report.
You
back
gotta
to
get
you.
the fancy seat to
I
help.
did. No, that seat is brutal.
It's a game changer.
This
Yeah.
is what you get on the OTP pregame.
It's a good Christmas gift.
So much more than you ever wanted. I mean, so much more.
You're welcome.
For Ramon Foster and Amie Wells, I'm Mike Keith, thanking you for joining us again for the OTP.